All right, it's time now for Word of the Day, where I break down a financial term or concept for our very smart viewer, but just maybe not the financial expert. And Word of the Day today is a term. It's Volcker rule. And given that we're talking about regulations, this is one that's in the news today because of this. A bipartisan group of 121 U.S. House lawmakers asked federal regulators to slow the adoption of the so-called Volcker rule that aims to ban banks from proprietary trading. So this is supposed to be a step towards reducing risky trading on Wall Street. It's required as part of the 2010 Dodd-Frank financial regulation. So here is exactly what it entails if we want to look at a definition. So it's trading restrictions placed on financial institutions. The Volcker rule separates investment banking, private equity, and proprietary trading or hedge fund sections of financial institutions from their consumer lending arm. So the rule would prohibit banks, for the most part, from investing in hedge funds and private equity funds. It would also ban proprietary trading, which is where banks trade to make money for themselves as opposed to making money for their clients. Now, the Volcker rule is really Dodd-Frank's answer to Glass-Steagall type separation of retail banking from investment banking, like you see here with this great example of what that would look like in the case of JP Chase. Okay, they are separate. Glass-Steagall came about after the Depression and was repealed during the Clinton administration. Now, as for the Volcker rule, the framework came in October, and several agencies have to vote on it. And of course, now we're seeing calls for delays. Now, there are some exceptions to the rule, too, so it's pretty unclear how this would work out in implementation. Now, on Wall Street, banks like Goldman Sachs, JP Chase, Morgan Stanley are against it because it eats into their profits, and consequently, it was one of the most intensely lobbied parts of Dodd-Frank. And now that it's going through this whole regulatory phase, the trade industries behind the banks have been lobbying regulators to extend the comment period, along with some lawmakers like we see now. Now, it's supposed to go into effect in July 2012, so we shall see. But now you basically know what the Volcker rule is, and a little bit of trivia. It's named after Paul Volcker, who is behind it. He's a former Federal Reserve chairman. He has championed this, and incidentally, he dissed me for an interview once on the grounds that he was too tall and I was too small.